Hello and welcome to the channel. As it is with everything in life, there is the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, light and darkness, Nigeria's election and rigging. But seriously though, the 2023 presidential election, widely criticized by a lot of people, both national and international, as to have produced at least one good thing. A lot of you may want to disagree, but nevertheless, in this news read, I am going to point out the highs and the lows of the presidential election. For those of you who do not agree, see you at the comments. Subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. The highs and lows of Nigeria's 2023 presidential election. Reactions from across the world have followed the 25th February presidential election, which produced old guard politician Bola Tinubu as Nigeria's next leader. Mr. Tinubu was the candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, the platform on which outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari has governed Nigeria since May 29, 2015. While a number of world leaders have congratulated the president-elect, some Western media have echoed the views of the Nigerian opposition and the section of the local media which have been very critical of the election. Mr. Tinubu was announced winner of the hard-fought contest with 8,794,736 of the over 24 million votes cast in the election. His tally represents only 37% of the votes, the lowest by a winner since 1979. Yet, it is 8% higher than that of his closest rival, Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Peter Obi of the Labour Party (LP) was further behind with a 25% share of the ballots. Not unusual in Nigerian elections, the opposition has refused to concede defeat, and the two closest contestants have launched a formal challenge of the results in court. They are alleging electoral fraud. In addition, they are lamenting the failure of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to upload screenshots of polling station results to a web portal (IREV) created for the purpose. Even at that, though quite ironic, some of the election results at the national legislative levels favorable to these parties have been endorsed and celebrated. Premium Times believes that INEC's failure to uphold the results as promised is a major flaw that has cast doubt on the credibility of the election. The Electoral Commission's explanation for the failure offered 2 days after the election was that technical glitches hindered it from uploading the results to the INEC result viewing portal (IREV). The agency has since uploaded and published over 90% of the results. Some opposition politicians have also questioned INEC's interpretation of the law on the national spread of winning results. The Constitution requires the winner of the presidential election to secure at least a quarter of the votes in each of 2/3 of the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). Mr. Tinubu crossed that threshold in 29 of the nation's 36 states, but his challengers are saying he also needed to have done so specifically in the FCT, where he didn't. INEC believes that is a wrong interpretation of the law. Some media organizations as well as a number of local and international observers have corroborated the opposition's claims of lapses in the conduct of the election. In its interim report, the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), which deployed 1,000 members from its 128 branches to monitor the poll across the country, identified some of the challenges it observed. These include late arrival of INEC officials and ballot materials at the polling stations, malfunctioning of the biometric voter accreditation system (BVAS) machines, limited or non-transmission of results from polling units to the INEC result viewing (IREF) portal, insecurity at some polling units, including violent attacks on voters and officials, voters' intimidation, snatching and destruction of voting materials. Despite these observations, the NBA said about 92% of the voters its election working group interviewed said they were either somewhat satisfied or excellently satisfied with the conduct of the polls. What the report suggests is that respondents do not consider the observed lapses significant enough to damage the integrity of the election. It is noteworthy that since INEC began uploading the results to the IREF portal, A number of voters have alleged discrepancies between what they witnessed as votes that were collated at polling units on election day and what was published on the result portal by INEC, but such observations are not widespread. Yihaga Africa, a non-governmental organization which did a parallel tabulation of the results from many states, reported variations between its results and those of INEC in Rivers and Imo, two states also flagged by the media and some of the opposition parties for significant levels of electoral irregularities. While some logistics challenges, malpractices, and violence in some locations undermined the election, Premium Times believes it is excessive and inaccurate to describe the exercise as totally flawed or as the worst in Nigeria's history, as some want the world to believe. If anything, the election demonstrated appreciable progress in the nation's electoral process in comparison to past ones. An analysis of media reports on election day indicates a reduction in reported cases of ballot box snatching and vote buying compared to previous elections. It is unclear to what extent the scarcity of cash, due to the implementation of the Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, contributed to this. The results of the poll, more than anything else, also support our own assessment of the election. Although the ruling APC runs the federal government on 21 of 36 states, Mr. TINUBU won in only 12 states. He lost in some of the party's historical strongholds, some with large voting populations. These include his home states, Lagos, Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, Kebbi, Yobe, and Gombe, all of which have APC governors. Aside from the president-elect who lost his home state, the national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Adamu, and the director general of Mr. Tinubu's campaign organization, Governor Simon Lalong, were also trounced in their Nasarawa and Plateau states, respectively, by the Labour Party. President Buhari's home state, Katsina, as well as Kaduna, Kano, and Kebbi, which have governors fiercely loyal to Mr. Tinubu, all fell to the opposition. The Labour Party, which had no elected official in its ranks and had been derided by opponents throughout the campaign for lacking political structures across the country, recorded a stunning victory in Lagos, polled nearly 90% of the votes in Mr. Obi's home southeast zone, and disrupted long-established voting patterns in the south-south states of Cross River, Delta, Edo, and Rivers. It is difficult to explain how a completely rigged process will deliver such outcomes. At no other election in Nigeria's history are so many shocking upsets been recorded, including the loss of 7 sitting governors seeking election to the Nigerian Senate. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.